The sea has always demanded respect. It is vast, unpredictable, and utterly indifferent to human frailty. The WM212 embodies this philosophy. It is a timepiece built not just for aesthetics, but for the serious business of exploration. It's a proper diver, with an exhibition case back, showcasing the dependable Seiko NH35A automatic movement, and a side-screwing crown for solid water resistance. What really sets this watch apart is the dial. It's got quite a unique crystal-like texture, almost like frost on glass, fading from white at the center to deep blue at the edges. Like looking into the depths of the ocean, really. The brush rehook features a cleanly printed mini-track, adding a nice layer of depth, framing it all in a glossy navy blue ceramic bezel insert that pairs well with the overall design. And his 120-click unidirectional action feels precise and sturdy. I have to be honest, the bezel action on this piece is amazing. This is proper heavy, and this is proper precise. There is hardly any backplay. There is maybe something like it feels like there could be, but there's none. So the bezel here, this is probably not San Martin quality, but definitely Seastern quality, definitely Boddery quality, but Boddery is a strange one considering that is titanium. So let's just say this is definitely Seastern quality. Very precise, like almost no playback. Sapphire crystal, automatic movement, this piece is something else, and the texture dial, that's interesting. Now, this watch here is just over $100. I've left a link to the listing in the description below the video, so do check it out if you're after a sharp price. And now let's get in and talk about this WM212 piece, because it is exciting. Let's do it. The WM212 has a strong stance on the wrist. At 41mm in diameter, 12.2 in height, 47mm lug-to-lug length, it finds that sweet spot between presence and wearability. Thanks to the downward-facing lugs, there's no awkward overhang, making it an easy fit even for the smaller wrists. Once again, 47mm lug-to-lug length is very modest indeed. The weight is 160 grams, and that gives it enough heft to feel substantial, but it's well balanced. From the side, the horizontally brushed case flank gives the watch a tall, structured profile, while the gloss-polished lug hoods add some visual contrast. The transition between the brushed and polished surfaces is clean, with beveled edges, keeping the shape distinct but not harsh. Despite being a dive watch, there's a refined layering here, where the polished elements play off the brushed outer links of the bracelet. It's a well-executed mix of textures that make the case feel premium. On the right-hand side, we get a 6mm screw-down crown, neatly signed with the WM logo. The threading is smooth, and while it's not oversized, it is easy to grip. Flipping the watch over, we get a display case back, basically an exhibition case back showcasing the Seiko NH35 movement. It's an undecorated rotor here, just a raw workhorse movement with its balance wheel and rotor exposed. The case back itself is stainless steel with a mineral crystal exhibition window, featuring engravings highlighting its automatic movement, stainless steel build, and 100 meters of water resistance. Unlike the front, which has synthetic sapphire, the mineral glass on the back keeps things simple. Let's talk about the bracelet on this piece, because we have this interesting rice bead style. Now, it's probably not my favorite type of styling for a bracelet, but this one actually looks okay, and it feels okay as well. Let me tell you about it. If we start off with the tolerances, well, they are solid. They are quite high. The inverted mel end links help keep the lug-to-lug measurement down to a modest 47mm, making it very compact on the wrist. There's a mix of polished rice beads and brushed outer links, adding a slightly dressy touch to this otherwise tool-focused diver. Each link is only 8mm long, which enhances the fluidity of the bracelet, giving it a comfortable drape on the wrist. It also feels solid, not flimsy, and conforms well without stiffness. The clasp is signed with WM, featuring 6 micro adjustments for a precise fit. It's a double pusher clasp with a milled wing, which is great to see at this price point. It locks in securely without feeling too bulky. Now let's talk about the bezel, because this is a place where I've got things to say. The 120-click unidirectional bezel is firm, precise, and completely free of backplay. Well, there is some, but it's just so minor and I can't quite say where between the clicks it is that it's almost as good as no backplay. It's got Seastern and San Martin level rotation resistance here, meaning it's stiff but not overly difficult to rotate. You feel every single click distinctly. The grip is great, thanks to the deep notches on the bezel edge, making it easy to adjust even with gloves. The ceramic bezel insert is polished navy blue, pairing well with the dial's gradient tones. Instead of a traditional pip at 12 o'clock, we get a luminescent triangle, which adds a modern touch. The dial is where things get special. The dial texture is crystal-like, made up of fine rough patterns that shimmer under the light. It starts bright white around the pinions and gradually fades into a deep ocean blue towards the brush reho at the edges. The gradient effect gives it depth and a natural transition, almost like looking down into clear water. The minute chapter ring is actually printed on the reho, which slopes inwards, making the dial feel even deeper. The applied hour markers are battens, edged in dark chrome for contrast. The 6, 9 and 12 o'clock markers are elongated, reinforcing the symmetry and legibility of the layout. The hands follow the same batten styling, chrome edge for clarity, keeping everything cohesive. At 3 o'clock we get a framed, beveled date window, which is just the right size, not oversized but still easy to read. The WM logo sits neatly below 12, while automatic and 100-meter water resistance are printed just above 6 o'clock. Covering the dial is a flat slab of synthetic sapphire crystal, keeping reflections to a minimum due to the anti-reflective treatment, and it offers durability against scratches and other daily wear and tear. It sits flush with the bezel, giving the watch a clean, seamless look. With regards to the movement, we get the Seiko NH35 self-winding automatic movement powering on this diver watch. It runs at 21,600 beats per hour or just 6 pulses per second for that fluid sweep of the seconds hand. It gets a power reserve of 41 hours and allows for hacking. It's not fancy, but it's reliable, easy to service, and does exactly what it needs to do. So what are my thoughts? Well, this is a diver that actually looks good and performs well. If we talk about the basics, synthetic sapphire crystal, that should keep your daily wear and tear at bay, right? You're not worried about the scratches. You've got a very tool-like appearance, right? It's a serious, it's a strict kind of design, yet because you've got that mix of brushed and polished surfaces, especially here on the bracelet, it still gives it a bit of that dressy touch, so you can actually wear this out. So this is not just your desk diver which is rugged and mean. This is actually a passable business or daily watch. Considering it does get a date window, it does pump up the practicality of this piece. So at $100 or just over, I think this is a decent watch and quite an easy recommend. Anyways, the link to the listing will be in the description below the video. Do check it out if you're after a sharp price. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.